All right, so I've run into a new situation with a build that I'm going to be working on shortly, and the case is a Corsair Carbide Series Spec 03, and the fans that are going in it are Corsair's HD120s, which are there's three of them. Actually, there's five. There's two 140 millimeter Corsair HD140s. Those are going in the front of the case as intake. And then there's three of these 120s. Now, originally the plan was to put two of them in the top as intake and one in the back as exhaust. So I would have four intakes, two in the front and two in the top for positive pressure. And but I ran into a situation where the cooler, which is going to be this Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo cooler, this is, think about it going into the case like this, right? So that the fan is here, pushing through out towards the back of the case over here. So like this would be the back of the case fan, right? So the top fans at the top of the case, these won't fit at the top of the case with this cooler. And this is the cooler that I plan on using. So what I decided to do, instead of mounting these fans to the top of the case, I'm just going to put them on the cooler itself and take off the stock fan that was on it, so it would be just push-pulling these. It wasn't really ideal. It wasn't my initial plan. The initial plan was to just use this cooler and have these at the top of the case. Mostly for bling, but also to pull air in through the top of the case. But in order to fit this cooler with fans at the top of the case, you have to use slim fans, like I forget, I think they're 15 millimeter, I think is what they are, whereas your normal fans are 25, and these are actually thicker than 25, not by much, but they are. And this rubber dampening pad here, to make it for silencing the fan some, actually brings it up a little bit, as you can see there. So that makes them a little bit thicker. So these won't fit at the top of the case. Let's see. It would be something like, see if I can get this. So at the top of the case, something like that, right? And then, the machine back fan over there. Okay, so this just won't work. It won't fit. All right, now the point of this video, because I'm going on 4 minutes already, sorry about that, is that these fans won't really work with this cooler just out of the box with these here. And the reasoning is because of these pads. Because they're up just slightly higher, when you go to put these on, let's just line that up a minute. Okay. When you go to put these on, see if I can get it to sit on there. There we go. So when you go to put these on, you end up with like a gap. And what happens is, if you screw these down all the way flat on both sides so that they're tight, it ends up bowing the plastic some. Matter of fact, I think you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a bow in this. Well, what happens is, because of those pads and what happens to the plastic, these stop gripping onto the cooler like they're supposed to. This way. Okay, like that's how they're supposed to work, but these rubber dampening pads get in the way and create a little bit of a problem. So what I've decided to do and how to fix this issue. Now I don't see a whole lot of people using these specific fans right here on a cooler like this, unless they were stuck in a niche situation like myself, where there's no really other option aside of going like with a water cooler just to create room at the top of the case. But that would end up putting these on the water cooler, you know what I mean? But that won't work with that case because that case doesn't support coolers like that all too well. It can be done, but it's a big pain in the butt. Anyways, so what, to get to the point of this entire video, because I'm doing a lot of rambling and I apologize, is you just, where'd that go? Okay. All right. So there's 3. Where's the 4th one? I seem to have misplaced one of the screws, because there's 3. Ah, here we are. Okay, sorry. That's what was taken. That's where all the spacing out was. I was just trying to do 2 different things at the same time, unintentionally. So anyways, the point of this video here is what you're going to want to do if you're in the situation of using these very specific fans, the Corsair HD120s, on a stack cooler quite like this that's using those clips. You need to put a washer here to level out the here we go. Sorry. To level out this spot here, so when you mount this on, it has more to grab onto and it doesn't bend, because the length of this, basically a lot of this doesn't get supported without having a washer there. So yeah, wow, almost 8 minutes just to tell you that. Okay, so basically, get yourself 4 washers, or 8, depending on how many fans you're trying to mount to it. And you'll need the washers to make this sit better, essentially. Alright, thank you for watching. Okay, now I've done one side, and you can see here that there's a washer in between. And yeah, there's a gap there, but that gap would have been there anyhow. It's just that now it's supporting the other side that was originally being bent down, and this sits straighter than it did before. Now I will show you the other side. See if we can get a good angle on this. We can try to get it in there some really good lighting. There we go. So yeah, so you can see what I mean about how it supports the plastic from the screw hole over towards where the rubber dampening pad is, and it's more flush and flat. Whereas before, it was getting bent down without having some sort of support under there. All right. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching.